And we are live. Welcome to VKH Live, everybody. Special X Japan edition. I'm your host, Jeff DeWitt. With me, a returning character on the stream is Laura from Jrock Vault.
Hello.
Everybody say hello to Laura in the chat. Be polite. I taught you guys to be polite and respectful. I'm just kidding.
Unlike me.
I'm just kidding. They just like learned from my bad example, and they're like, okay, just act not like him. So, but yeah. So we're going to be talking about all things X Japan related to the Coachella events that have been going on, which we're kind of right in the middle of. If you're watching this and you have no idea what's going on, X Japan just had their first debut performance at Coachella last weekend, and historic moment. And they've had some special announcements. They had some special things at their concerts, and we'll get into all of that. And they are doing their second and final Coachella performance this weekend. So we've got a lot to get into, but first, Laura, do you want to kind of talk about what it is you do? Because I think it's pretty interesting, and since you're on the stream, and
Yes, I am the part owner of Jrock Vault. We are a Visual K subscription box. We're shipping boxes every other month. We just released our first box, which is the Kaya Vault. I'm actually wearing the shirt from that vault.
And I just got actually got mine.
And now we all know where you live.
And now we all know. Oh God, did I just dox myself? Oh yes. No. Oh, whoops. Well, okay. Well.
Yeah, we still have some boxes available, although we are out of a few sizes. So if you want to grab that, now's the time to do that. But and then we're going to be having another box in 2 months. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, awesome. So if you guys are interested in a subscription box where you get all kinds of cool stuff from different artists each time in these really nice boxes with these really nice artwork and all kinds of other goodies, check out jrockvault.com for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for witnessing me doxing myself. What is that, like?
I tried to help.
eight streams in, or 10. We're probably at 10, past 10. Yeah, so that's fine. That's fine. It's just fine. Okay, so yeah, let's get into weekend one. Do you, Laura? Did you? So we kind of watched the live stream. Well, obviously we watched it all at the same time, but we were going back and forth over chat with a few other people. I know you were kind of limited in terms of like how much audio you could hear.
I was at a party, so I was like watching, like trying to hear, but I couldn't really.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I think overall, I mean, well, we'll start with the good and maybe get into some of the other more contentious stuff. But I think just the sheer fact that they were like, X Japan was really like the only rock band, like significant rock band that was there. I was checking some of the mainstream articles, and they seem to have left a very good, a very positive impression overall, like a kind of like a blast from the past, or like a memories of a time, where like, hard rock and heavy metal bands, like, they didn't just own the stage. They weren't just on the stage the most. They like ruled the stage, and they had like performances and stuff like that. And we're used to it, but I think at the very least there was like a pretty positive reaction. How did the set look to you and everything like that? Like all of the.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything, so I know a lot of people are complaining about the sound, but I thought they looked great. I remember I said to you guys, like, within the first 10 minutes of them starting, like, This makes me remember like why I like X Japan so much is they have a lot of presence, and I thought they put on a good show despite all of the sound issues and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think Suksa really stood out, like to me, as like, well, yeah, he didn't stand out, but it's like, I mean, we all know that he's he's not one of the original members, but he's obviously been a good fit. But he was like a great fit that night,
Yeah.
like he really just assumed the role of like, yeah, I mean, you just saw him like he was having fun. He was getting in the getting in the camera and at a couple of points while he's playing guitar and stuff like that. By the way, people in the chat, leave your impressions, good or bad, or whatever else. Sorry, I was just reading the chat. Actually, I started reading it out loud. Leave your impressions, good or bad, or otherwise, of how you think the Coachella performance went. We'll read them out. Someone asked, no streaming for Coachella this weekend, right? So yeah, I'll go ahead and jump to that. So yeah, unfortunately, there is no streaming for this weekend for weekend 2 of Coachella. YouTube has historically only streamed the first weekend of Coachella. Why? I don't know. But we were holding out to maybe see if like there was going to be exceptions or something like that. But like not even Beyonce is getting filmed or anything like that. So it's like, yeah, it's
really unfortunate. Yeah.
We can kind of, we can talk about this a little bit since it came up already, but and you can tell me what you think about this, Laura, but I think it might be possible. I would at least be hopeful that they might film that, the staff might film some of the highlights or get some footage from this concert, at least from, the special collaborations that are sure to happen. We know the one with Marilyn Manson.
Right.
There were a bunch of surprise ones, which we'll get to in this last weekend. And every time there's been a collaboration that they've been able to confirm and announce, they've like been really excited about announcing it. So I don't know. Do you think there's any chance they might, get some of the snippets and it comes out in a...
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that they're going to be filming and photographing, if anything, for putting out to their fans in Japan. Most bands do like an excessive amount of filming at shows so that they have a lot to work with when they put out like a fan club DVD or a live DVD or something like that. So it's possible that they'll release footage online, but I think it's most likely that we'll see it in a DVD or something like that. But also it's going to depend on because the stuff that they do with Marilyn Manson, like obviously they'll have to work out permission for that too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was very interesting. Let me see if I can find that tweet. Actually, Marilyn Manson had a very interesting tweet. He had been banned from Coachella.
Do you know why? Because I hadn't heard that before, but I don't keep up with him that much.
I could it's pick anything.
Start Googling.
Well, it's just like, yeah, I mean, honestly.
I'm sure it has to be like a really entertaining story, at least.
I mean, I feel like if it's at a festival and he got heckled, then he might have like attacked a fan or something, or not a fan, but attacked a heckler or something. Apparently, this is news to Pitchfork. It's news to everyone.
They didn't know.
No, they didn't. Nobody is saying. Everybody's like, apparently Marilyn Manson was banned. That's just every headline is like, Marilyn Manson said he was once banned. So it's like,
has he played Coachella before? Probably
I
not, right?
yeah, I don't know. Let me see. I can find that out too. That was just such a weird. It's such a weird situation because it's just like it just kind of came out of nowhere. So it's like
Hmm.
I don't.
I'm sure in about 5 days, the Daily Mail will have like an article, will have like 10,000 pictures and every gossipy reason that you can think of. But that's crazy though. Like nobody actually knew that.
Yeah, like I oh god, this is why I don't click on other news sites besides my own. There's like video ads flying everywhere. God, I hate that. But yeah, if I just switch over real quick, just so you guys know, I'm just not making stuff up, and so you get the full experience or whatever. Lock this in. I never thought I would play at a festival I was banned from, but Yoshiki invited me to join the stage with X Japan. You don't want to miss this one. It's like, whoa.
You don't want to miss this one coming from Mr. Manson himself.
Yeah. So
what do they got planned?
so given the general reaction in the press, I'm seeing this as two possibilities. Number one, he was actually banned, and we've previously reported that they've been collaborating that Manson and Yoshiki have been collaborating together on a song for a while now. So it's entirely possible that they're just like at a relationship, a business partnership / friendship level where it's like they're scratching each other's backs and like, helping each other out with stuff, or it's a publicity stunt. But I don't know either way. And, so it'll be interesting to see. Monophobia made a good point that he was known for his explicit performances.
Yes, he has been known to assault staff members at shows, and so he got in trouble for that before, for rubbing up on a security guard or something like that. I don't know if he's toned down like at all in recent years or not. My knowledge of him is more from like the early 2000s era Marilyn Manson, but
yeah, as for modern Marilyn Manson, the only impressions I've got have been from like other celebrities that have told like stories of recently spending time with him or hanging out. It sounds like he still lives a wild rock star lifestyle, but you can infer from that exactly what you want to infer. But it sounds like he's got more control over it now. Like it's the same stuff he's been doing, but it's just I don't know, you do a little of this thing or that thing, and maybe when you were 15 years younger, you were more unstable, you just go crazy and you get banned from Coachella. But now it's just what you do backstage before you go out on the show and like this and that, So it's like, but that's all like gossip and so not gossip, but like secondhand from celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's also I kind of hear that in his music too, is he's like he still does like the anti-religious stuff and everything like that, but it's much more it's much more controlled, a little toned down, that kind of thing.
I think it's interesting because I know he's I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I know that he had quite a few canceled shows recently and stuff like that. So I think performing at Coachella is just as good of a thing for him as it is for X Japan. But I'd be really curious to see if like any of his fans like come to like X Japan, or like how that plays out. Whether or not like his fan base is gonna like be exposed to like a new style of music through this collaboration.
Yeah, that'll definitely be interesting, because it's and someone was actually saying in the chat, I'm gonna try and say your name. I'm guessing it's just Trem, Treme, Trem 7777. What do you think? Will he sing an X's song, or will X play one of his? Well, there's actually an option C in that, and that's that they might play the song that Marilyn Manson and Yoshiki have been working on. And this was something that we kind of picked up on at VKH. It wasn't old news because nobody knew about it, but it had just been floating out there in the public domain for like a year and a half, technically. Like, so we found, we found, first we got tipped off because Yoshiki uploaded this YouTube video, that was like the highlights from We Are X, but like from the Hollywood screenings and the interviews with celebrities and stuff. And the specific thumbnail that or screen clip that he used as the thumbnail is the subtitled interview with Marilyn Manson, where he says, and all it says is, "We're working on a song together and we're going to finish it together." and that just came, and I was like, all right, if this guy isn't like leaving breadcrumbs for us, like, I don't know. If this isn't like a hint, I don't know what is a hint, you know?
I like how they have to specify that they're going to finish the song.
Yeah, well, it was kind of, that's a good point. Yeah. But it was kind of, it was in the middle of a very heartfelt, like, I love Yoshiki and Yoshiki loves me kind of thing, you know? Yeah, like they're like really good friends and stuff like that. But Monophobia is right. Yoshiki has a lot of unfinished projects, and a lot of these big musicians like Marilyn Manson also have a lot of unfinished projects, especially when it's outside of their main, like, you know, catalog and things like that. You know, like even Marilyn Manson, like he delayed his album for so long. Do you remember that, Laura?
The most recent one?
Yeah, like
I have no idea what happened with that.
Oh, okay, yeah. This was like almost a year and a half ago, I think, at this point. I might have my dates a little off, but basically he put right around the election, right after the election, he dropped out. He dropped it was like a teaser for like one of his songs, and for his Say 10 song. And he was like, the album's going to be called Say 10, like the word say and the number 10. And it was just a clip that like zoomed out right when like the chords kicked in and stuff. And it was like him, like, well, there was like a shot of him like ripping pages out of a Bible. And then it was, and then it like, it was like a picture of him and what looked like the decapitated body of what was supposed to be Donald Trump. And so
I remember that.
Yeah.
Everyone was like,
yeah. And so it's like, and then it's the new album, Say 10. It's going to be out at this date. And then that date was a month away. And that date came and went. And there was like no comment whatsoever. And then like 8 months later, the album came out under a different name and all that. So, you know, birds of a feather flock together, I guess.
I hope that they finish the song. I think they will. And I hope it's amazing. Like, I can't wait to hear it. I'm really curious what it's going to sound like, because I'm not sure like how those styles are going to go together. Like, is it going to be like just like an X Japan style song with like Marilyn Manson singing on it, or is it going to be like more like rougher Manson style type music?
Somewhere in the middle. Our article, because I want to say there is like the slightest hint of what it would be, but it's not a lot. It's yeah. Here we go. Oh no, this is the newer one. Let's see. Marilyn Manson lives very near my, I guess, let me share my screen, because some people might have missed this because this was a while back, but this was a very popular article on VKH Press. Like a lot of people were interested in this. So we were like, whoa, okay, good to know. We will keep an eye out for Marilyn Manson activities with Visual K.
Which one is this one? It's too small on my screen, so I can't read the title.
Oh, you can't?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Yoshiki and Marilyn Manson have been recording a song. This is my favorite picture of them of all time, so that's why I use it for everything related to both of them.
You're not the only one though, because I think it was Slate had an article, and they just picked the worst picture of Manson that they could possibly find. It's like when you take a photo of someone and they're not paying attention and their like mouth is hanging open or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I like those candid shots. Like it's, it's nice. Like if it's like super stupid, it's like fine. It's not great. But yeah, I think all we got out of this was we wrote a song together. We're going to finish it together, and then Yoshiki said Marilyn Manson lives very near my studio in LA, and they were recording together, and he just kind of dropped. He let it slip, and this was in another interview that we found. It was a Russian interview, and yeah, we sleuthed this out when we first found out about it. So, but anyway, yeah. So backing up a little bit, because the original question was, what kind of song are they going to play? So it's like, well, they could play. They could do any or all of the following. They could do a Marilyn Manson song. They could do a Extra Pants song. They could do the new song that Marilyn Manson and Yoshiki have been working on. But the problem is that I don't know. We have no idea if Yoshiki and Marilyn Manson making a song means it's an Extra Pants song or just a Yoshiki song. And it could have started out as a Yoshiki song and then end up as an Extra Pants song. For all we know, it could be on the new album. That's speculation, like wild speculation. But we really don't know. Yeah.
If they were to put that song on the new album, do you think it could be like another attempt at them to try to break into the U.S. market like they did back in I think it was like the 80s or early 90s or something like that?
Yeah, probably. I would imagine that's what it. Chat, maybe you guys can inform me on if Yoshiki's given any reasons for like what his various reasons are for why the album's taking so long, if he's given any. My impression from following Asian artists and from following like in general, and then from following I guess like artists that are very like conscious or like have a purpose with a certain album, like if they're trying to break in somewhere or if they have a strong interest in accomplishing something with that album's a lot more likely to be delayed because things won't quite work out usually, like if I don't know if a lot of people are really into K-pop, but there's the K-pop group 2NE1, and their singer CL had a solo project, and she was doing a lot of stuff with like big big EDM DJs like Diplo and things like that, and building up a lot of hype. And she was going to have an American debut, and she sings and raps in like perfect fluent English, and it was going to be great. And then the album just never came out. And I think it's just like it's perpetually stuck, and we're trying to redo it so that we break into the market appropriately. We just can't quite get it. And, there was like a music video that for a song that never came out that got scrapped, and she leaked it on Instagram and stuff like that. So I think X Japan's been the reason I even bring that up is because I think X Japan's been pretty clear about the fact that like they want to break into the American market. All their songs are completely in English. Born to Be Free was like, song was born to be played on Western radio stations,
I think if they were playing these festivals like 10 years ago during the Jrock like boom that we had here, like that would have been really crazy. Like I think they could have actually done it. But like as you've been saying, like rock music isn't doing very well here in the United States right now. So I think they kind of have like an uphill battle with that, which is really unfortunate. But if they have like good underground following, it could still happen. Like I meet metalheads to this day who don't know anything about Japanese music, but they know who Durant Gray is. They always only know Ouroboros. That's like always the only album that they know, which is kind of funny. But,
oh yeah, well that's like that was the one that
was released here. Yeah.
I mean, the metal scene is doing fine. In the Western metal scene, even here in the States, it's rock specifically that is dead, like really dead.
And glam rock is kind of out of fashion at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, it's out of fashion, but like again, like
And I don't
they.
mean that to hate on it. I love
Oh
that
no,
kind of
yeah.
music, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah, for sure. But no, I mean it's definitely out of fashion, but the way that they are doing glam rock now is kind of more. They're not nearly as shocking as they used to be, right?
Yeah,
But
very tame.
they still have all these stage theatrics of they have the attitude and the set and everything like that. So I think they're kind of figuring it out. So I think it's possible. I think more than anything, because they're more rock than metal now, it's going to be like they're going to
Mm-hmm.
get in on a gimmick. Um, and maybe that's not a bad thing. Like, but you know, it's going to be like, oh, okay, it's this, you know, glam rock band from Japan, but you know, they make these like it's rock music and you know a little bit of heavy metal, but it's not like
Yeah.
heavy. It's like melodic and you know these choruses feel like pop choruses on steroids and you know like all this other stuff and it'll just kind of be. I mean, maybe that's like what they need because like half the reason rock died is because like all the bands sounded the same and everybody got bored
Mm-hmm.
and you know
Well,
moved
look
on
at
to.
how well Baby Metal's doing, and they don't mesh in with American music that much, I think. But whoever's in charge of them made like a really good effort to get them in front of like they went and played a music festival, and they were out there taking pictures with every musician that they could find, so they can like post it on Instagram and like tag that artist or whatever. So like a lot of people who aren't in the Japanese music are really aware of Baby Metal because they see him pop up all the time on the um, like on the rock band feeds and stuff here. And then
Yeah.
when the fans of the American music would start attacking them, then you had like Rob Zombie going in there to defend them and stuff like that.
Yeah, which
But
was crazy.
yeah, and Yoshiki, he knows a lot of people because he's been living in LA for I think more than 20 years. He's had a recording studio there. He's worked with American bands there, so he knows a lot of people. I think he could uh, do like a marketing campaign that's kind of like that with X Japan too, because he knows even more people than they do. I would assume.
Yeah, and I mean, in a lot of ways, that's kind of what We Are X was because
Mm-hmm.
God, that was star-studded. It was absolutely
Yes.
star-studded. He got Gene Simmons to go on the record and just come out and say that the U.S. industry is racist. Insofar as if you don't speak perfect English,
Mm-hmm.
they don't care about you nearly as much. Like he said that he outright said that. It's
Yeah.
like he's never he's. I mean, he speaks his mind, but it's like I've never heard him say something like that, you know, before, and certainly not in a big documentary. And then he had everyone from Marilyn Manson to Stan Lee and stuff.
Stan
I
Lee is the one that surprised me the most. Actually, I think.
yeah,
Like really.
yeah, yeah, that one was a little out there, but I think they did a comic book together or something. Was the reason for that? But
With X.
with Yoshiki,
Really,
I think so.
I
Yeah,
did
because
not know that.
I remember it flashing across the screen. Um, but yeah, I think the other thing is because he's doing it more and more, or they're doing it more and more, like getting the in with the stars and stuff. But I just think it's just not quite catching, um,
Mm-hmm.
and that may just be because the music is not quite there. And by that I mean like they don't have enough new music that's like fleshed out enough to
Yeah.
you know maybe unless they wanted to really lean into like their old stuff and like start performing that everywhere they go and do re-releases or remasters of those and stuff. I mean, I'm totally in agreement with the chat and pretty much every other person probably watching this or any other
I
fan that's
can't
just
see the chat. What's happening?
just comments about like you know will he finish the dang album? You know, like the album needs to come out. I mean, it's true. It's true. Like the album
Yeah.
does need to come out.
I think that's one of the things that they really should be focused on right now is trying to get some new music out there because that's a really good way to bring in fresh blood, fan base wise, and like hype up the like. And they should release it here too. But if they take a really long time, like they're not going to be hot off the heels of playing all these festivals and stuff anymore. Yeah, they need to put that album out.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, I think almost the entire Visual Kei fan base is kind of on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But
haven't they been talking about this album since like they did the soundtrack for Saw or something like that? Like it's been a really long time.
Yeah,
since Saw, and that was almost 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah, no, it's
2008 or 2009 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
a decade.
It's not like the complaining is without cause. It's literally coming up on a decade if it hasn't already become a decade. So, yeah. So, speaking of the celebrity factor and everything like that, this might be a good time to go into some of the downsides of kind of the bummer parts of X's like appearance at Coachella so far. And I'm going to preface this just by saying that I think all of my criticisms are really not of X Japan. It's of Coachella itself. So, certain things we're going to get into, and you'll see what I mean, not because I'm prefacing it like this. It's like, it's out of their control. And there's things that were done, to me, that it seems like, Coachella made it very hard on them in a lot of ways. And I guess we could start with let's just start with like the most obvious one, which was the sound, and then we'll get to the time slot. But there was very, very obvious. Very, very obvious, like if you want to call them screw ups and things like that in the guitar playing and things like that. But it's the kind of thing where you can tell that it's like the audio systems were like out of sync and or something was going on, because there are multiple points in the concert where Sukso and I think Pata they seemed like they were playing, but they couldn't.
Sukiza looked pissed.
Yeah,
he looked angry.
Yeah, like they couldn't. It seemed like they couldn't hear themselves play, and I just had the tweet up. I'm trying to see where it went, but I wanted to share with you guys the tweet. Sorry, that Sugizo put out. Here it is, because he actually went out and yeah. I forgot how like he was, just how blunt he was about it. I just had to take a second look at it. Yeah. So so how does that, I can zoom in a little bit.
The first day of Coachella is over somehow.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Let me lock the screen. All right. You can keep reading.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it out.
Like when I read stories to Bruce.
Yeah.
However, due to the worst technical trouble ever, I was not able to play my sound in a right way. So frustrated. It was beyond my control, but I have to investigate the cause and solve it completely for future. I am really frustrated.
Okay, and then there was one follow-up tweet. Oops. Okay, now this one.
However, more than anything else, I deeply appreciate to everyone that I could play on the stage here in the US. Thank you so much. I am so sorry. This is so typically Japanese. I promise we'll get our revenge next week. X Japan's potential is not fully shown yet. Please look forward to next time. Sugito.
Yeah, so it's like at that point, it's like, damn, like, so it's like everything that I had been like suspecting, it was like immediately validated. So it's like, okay, I'm glad it was. So it's like I refuse to believe that someone like, people like, the members of X Japan would botch any of their concerts at this point, honestly. So, And oops, okay.
I remember Rhubarb had mentioned before, like how frustrating it can be for the bands that come over here and work with like the American style equipment and setup on the stage and stuff like that. But I don't know. It sounds like something was like wrong with the equipment or something like that.
Yeah, Trim said Sugizo said so in Twitter, and he said so in English. So yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah.
He went out of his way to make sure they could read it.
Yeah. My experience with Japanese people is that they tend not to be super straightforward about stuff, and they won't like easily place blame openly on other people, especially on Twitter. They'd be more likely just to say sorry about the sound. It'll be fixed next week or something like that. But he actually like went into detail about it, so like he sounds pretty pissed.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's how it's like unacceptable levels. Because there were definitely points I was like, oh, I thought there was something wrong with my earbuds because like one of the guitars in the guitar duel wasn't coming through and stuff like that.
When you guys were talking about it, I assumed maybe it was just something wrong with the stream or something like that, but it was wrong at the concert.
Yeah. Apparently it was something wrong at the concert. I would be, yeah. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much that was the other thing that this tweet kind of clarified, is it was like, well, maybe they just suck at streaming, but it's like they've been streaming for years now at this point. Like, but
is it Google that streams, or is it Coachella?
Well, they're streaming on YouTube, but it's Coachella's equipment and Coachella's channel and all of that. And this has been a partnership between them for the last few years. So it's pretty
they should know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, like their channel has like a custom like channel layout that you can't make as a normal channel, like, so
that's legit.
It's like it's like a JavaScript thing, and it's like things are moving around, and then there's the videos, and then there's like it's so much nicer than like what they give us. I was like, oh, okay, so that's what they actually sent a web developer over to like give them a custom thing. So yeah, it's like a really established thing. So it's just this, but you're totally right, Laura, because it ties back into what Rhubarb was telling us on our previous episode of VKH Live, where she had been giving us advice about or advice to fans about how to best support bands and what they can do to make it easier for bands to come play near them. And if you haven't seen that, you should definitely check it out, because it was very informative. Yeah,
I watched it a couple days ago, actually.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So did you like it?
It's weird. It's weird when I'm watching your like recorded live streams, but then I'm talking to you like in another window.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In real time.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a great episode.
Yeah. So, we got a lot of messages about that. So we'll definitely have to have more like that. But she talked about like the reality of the situation is that on top of it being expensive and hard to find connections and like all kinds of other things for like just doing a tour, the venues themselves are not very desirable. Like the venues in Japan are like super legit by comparison. Like the lighting is on point. The lighting was like the main thing she brought up, I think.
She also mentioned the issue of the visas being so difficult and expensive, and even X Japan had this problem too, because Sugizo almost didn't even make it to the show.
Yeah, that was that would have sucked. That would have been bad.
I was told, not that I was told, I heard that they already had a backup guitar player there in case like he couldn't make it. But I was really glad that he was able to actually get through and make it to the show.
Oh, I'm sure. Katie H says Sugizo tried to tell a tech about the issues if you watch the stream closely. That's the thing.
I saw that too.
Yeah, I did. I think I saw a couple glimpses of that, but it's just now clicking in my head that it wasn't Japanese staff that he was like saying that to. So it's like that's why it didn't get fixed. Is because like if you watch like any Visual K or Jrock lives or anything like that, like these bandmen, their teams are so good. Like the sound people and the stage people, I have like so much respect for them in Japan. Like they're so good that band members just have to like gesture and or like nod their head, and they know exactly what to fix. But there was like a point where Yoshiki was like gesturing with his drumstick to like the guy to come over and like adjust his cymbal or something.
I think.
They're saying it was
like
Trim is saying it was Japanese staff, so maybe
I would assume so, because a band that size will almost always bring at least like a skeleton crew of their own staff. But I think like with any workplace, like when you've worked with someone for a really long time, they tend to know how you like things or don't like things. But
yeah, maybe I'm letting my
a comedy of errors almost.
Yeah, maybe it's again, maybe I'm letting like my bias and my skepticism like run out ahead of me, so I shouldn't jump to conclusions so much. But it's just
hater Jeff.
Hater Jeff. It's just I have seen so much excellence from Japanese rock artists and sound crews and stage crews and particularly Visual K and K-pop teams, like the teams around the K-pop artists and stuff, in terms of the shows that they're on, because they're on live shows every week, and those that like the camera and everything is like great. And it's like I had been sorry to jump into K-pop a little bit, but it is relevant when it comes to like them breaking into like Asian artists breaking into the US. So bear with me if you.
I think it's important to look at how that's worked, because they've been a little bit more successful than Visual K was.
Yeah.
Like you could actually go to the store and hear K-pop music on the radio for a while. So
yeah. Oh yeah. K-pop is a thing, like officially a thing now. Like it was a wave and like a weird internet thing and basically like weeb culture, but like not weeb culture because it's Korea. You know, that's like how the mainstream people were like kind of dismissively looking at it. But at this point, it's a thing. Basically, with BTS turned it into a thing, you know, or solidified it as a thing. It's like, all right, I can't deny. They just did a song with Steve Aoki. This is not. I can't ignore the fact that this is not a thing. So, but speaking of BTS, that was where I really saw the difference. Was when they started playing on American late night shows. Oh man, like the camera work was like was all off. The sound was kind of messed up. It was nothing like their performances in Japan in South Korea. And probably Japan, like because again, like the stage setup in Japan's pretty great. So, Trim says maybe all the technicians were at Beyonce's concert.
That's the explanation I'm going with from now on.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and just jump into that because
you're like speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of that's let's go with the flow. I'm going with the flow of the chat. Guide me, chat. Guide me to your
to your desires.
To your desires, your wants and your dreams.
We'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I saw
not whatever you want, but
I saw the Beyonce thing coming up. I was gonna like just kind of hold off on it a little bit because I've probably got some stuff to say.
Are you afraid of the Bayhive, Jeff?
No, I'm not afraid of the Bayhive. I'm afraid of my own inner shadow. I don't want to be consumed.
All of a sudden, the chat box has like 600 people and it's just full of bees.
Oh, bad press is good press, baby. Like, bring it on.
Give me those delicious views.
Give me that honey. Like, yeah. So here's the thing, right? X Japan being scheduled with at the exact same spot as Beyonce. Obviously that really sucks, right? Like, because basically from what we've seen in the photos, it's the actual crowd that was in attendance was a bit over 100 people, but I don't know.
I think it was a little bit larger than that. It's kind of hard to tell because they didn't take very many photos of like looking out to the audience. I think it did look like they're in like a smaller venue, and it was not packed for sure. Because I seen a photo taken like from the back of the audience, and it was like you can tell like the people aren't like super crowded together.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so this was I mean, you could definitely tell it was a little sparse. But I kind of expected it a bit, because it's like a foreign band. Nobody knows who they are at this festival, in a lot of ways.
And Beyonce.
And, the only other band that was there that I would even consider a rock band was Greta Van Fleet. And so it's like them and X Japan. Greta Van Fleet is like they're like these like the Gen Z reincarnation of the Rolling Stones, basically. So that's why everybody likes them, because they sound like the Rolling Stones. But like outside of that, there's no other like rock or hard rock or anything at Coachella these days. Coachella is millennial hipster youth kind of.
An EDM too, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what hipster youth is turned into. That, or hippie youth.
I'm too old to be like knowledgeable about the kids these days. Like I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, well it's like it's like the trippier parts of EDM, and there's a lot of house music. I mean, they were disguising it exotically with like, oh, this is like, there's like I don't know. There's like these cool scents, and there's like this tropical vibe, and everybody's kind of like probably high and like just chilling or whatever. But it's like you're watching it on the stream, and you're just like, this is like basic bitch house music. I thought this was like a big festival or something. Like I thought this was like a hallowed festival. And I was
hashtag hater Jeff.
Yeah. Yes. I will be a hater on this. Okay. Nobody's a fan of these EDM DJs in this chat.
I don't know, Jeff, because Coachella is sold out. So somebody likes that.
And I like EDM a lot, but this was like the really vanilla stuff. There's like pop rock stuff there that I saw. Vince Staples had a killer show though. He's a rapper, so like opposite of hater Jeff for that. Like lover Jeff for that. But anyway, so that's the whole vibe, right? And so then you get to the end of the night, and then it's like, okay, X Japan or Beyonce, and so everybody goes to Beyonce. So my issue is this, Coachella pretty much billed them as, as the headliner, like they were like the headliner of the Mojave stage.
Mm-hmm.
What I worry about, and I don't know, this is just a guess, but it's not even a guess. I'm just like letting you know where the edges of my thoughts are going, is there's two ways you do like the scheduling for like these festivals when it comes to the last band. The last band is either the biggest band and thus the headliner, or they are a smaller band that less people know about, but you let them go on at the end as if there's another headliner playing at the same time. And that's kind of what it looks like to me. If you step outside of our bubble, which is like Jrock and Visual K and stuff like that, like, because, and for Coachella, it's like, it was like a win-win situation, because it was basically like they were appeasing, X Japan. It was like kind of it was probably like a little moment of like, I don't know, like diversity or like a milestone or something like that they can add to a press release and stuff like that. And then they say they headlined the Mojave stage, and first Japanese rock band to play at Coachella. We were so welcome to have them here, and like yada yada yada, right? But then at the same time, it's like they figured out like who's going to be playing for while Beyonce is playing. Is it's like, oh, okay, well, it's the founding fathers of this niche movement, who the majority of the listeners do not live in America, and but are very interested in having them here, and will be grateful just for the fact that they even showed up at all. And so I think they won out with that, So I almost feel like the only people that really X Japan might have, I feel like the people at the end of the day that X Japan might have reached the most, for as much as they try and have been trying to branch out and stuff like that. I think at Coachella, the people they touched the most were their own fans who stuck it out just to see them. And so I think there's probably like an undertone. Maybe if you guys search around social media, or if you have any friends who went to Coachella, you could let us know. I know we have friends who have friends that have gone. That might be the subtext, is that like, all right, like so it's like on the top layer, it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. It's like they're headlining Coachella, on the stage and stuff like that. And then you go under that, and it's like, okay, but it's at the same time as Beyonce. There are all these technical difficulties, There, you pointed out over chat, Laura, that it's like the text is their name. The text on the pamphlet is like really small, like that kind of
thing.
But then like this,
to us, X Japan deserves to be at like the top and like the super huge text or whatever. But it's just kind of like when you see the flyer and you see them like down in the smaller font, like not even like, I forget where they were on the page, but you're just like, oh yeah, they're not that well known here.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a little insulting, especially for anyone who's ever been to a rock festival before, because it's like, it's weird because it's like they're relegated to that, not because they're like, not because that's where they, it's not that, I don't think it's that Coachella thinks that's where they belong, but it's like, that's where their buzz is, in that circle of Coachella people. But when you go to a rock festival and you see bands with, that far down on the pamphlet and that small, like it's, sometimes they're not even good, like, or they're like they're brand new, they're probably not good live and stuff like that. So it rubbed us the wrong way the first time we looked at it.
But at the same time, I understand why. It's just we come from like a totally different musical circle, so our perspective is a lot different looking at it. Like, and I almost can kind of understand why like they got slotted at the same time as Beyonce. Like, I don't like it, but I get it.
Yeah. The other theory, the other thing that I thought might have been like a thought process with that scheduling. Again, this is all speculation stuff, but this is like, I feel like this is a little bit less, negative, or like a kind of a negative for X Japan, is that, inevitably at these music festivals, there's going to be people that hate the kind of music that artists like Beyonce make. So let's put the opposite of her, at the same time. And, so maybe that's that, I guess, but, maybe they underestimated Beyonce's pull. Like, I just like, Beyonce.
I don't know if they underestimated it. It's just like, I don't know. To me, anytime I can't say I've been to a huge number of music festivals, but all the music festivals I've been to, usually all of the secondary stages close down for the last act of the night to try and get everyone together in one spot. But I think, like you said, like they put them at that time so that they could headline that day. But yeah, it's just. And I think another big thing with that is like the Coachella tickets have been sold out, and I think they've been sold out for a long time. So there's probably a lot of X Japan fans who probably couldn't even get in or get there. So like if there's more notice or the tickets weren't so hard to get, I think there might have been more people there too.
Yeah, it's a weird situation, just kind of all around, because it's like.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if any of you guys, or even Laura, have you like ventured over to like Coachella's website and just like kind of seen what the sign up process looked like for?
Yes, I tried to buy tickets.
Oh, you did? Okay.
The
That
only
shit
thing
is
that was
wild. That
the
shit is
only thing that was
ridiculous.
available was you could buy VIP parking. That was it. That's all they had left. But I remember like the base level tickets, which were ridiculous. Parking was included. And then to buy the VIP level tickets, the parking was not included. You had to go buy VIP parking or pay for parking, I think. Like, it's just all whacked up. I think the tickets were like, God, how much were they? They were a lot.
Yeah, they had a. Okay, so just for context, I'm a software developer in my other job. So like when I see stuff like websites and stuff that have like weird ass designs and stuff, they jump out to me. But it's like I don't know what they were thinking, but it's like they had the concept of a physical line, like a waiting line, but it was like manifested inside of their website. So it was like, right? So it's like you sign in or you create an account and now you'll be entered in line and we place you in line. And as you move along the line, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's another ticketing company that does that. I can't remember who it is.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
That's unacceptable in 2018. I'm sorry. Like, no, no. Yeah, you don't take the real life thing and then put it on the screen and then
is that so that they don't crash the website when the tickets go up?
I think it's I think it's what they just came up with it might be to prevent the website from crashing or also to like just help fairly distribute it,
Yeah, I pay for really expensive hosting for our site, and
I think so you're getting fast, right?
No, hopefully it doesn't like play the music. Yeah, I think I have less than 10 pages on my website, and if too many people get on there at the same time, it still crashes. Like,
oh, okay. Oh yeah, so KDH play hashtag get Extra Pan to play better festivals.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey man, look. You want to talk about better festivals? That might be a good thing. I know you have to go in a little, right about now, but that might be a good.
I want to see another Jrock festival.
I want to see that. No, I agree.
I know that's like dreaming fantasy level, but I would love to see another Jrock festival.
I really don't think it is that much anymore. And this was like our main argument for like why like this is like when people were saying is Visual K dead, like just whenever they say it, but like a year ago, is like the thing about Visual K and Jrock is that the talent pool is so damn deep right now that you can have like 8 indie bands that rock as hard as like Western major bands do.
Yeah.
And just get them all to show up. Like the what's that called? The Hysteric Circus lives that they do in Japan. Is that's the name of one of them?
I don't think VK is dead. I think the market here in America is pretty dead right now. But I have like a really long range of experience, and I ran a business when the market was a lot better too. But I think in order for there to be a festival, it would have to be like some really big bands in a really good location and advance notice so people could travel.
Yeah.
And it would be very, very, very expensive. Just the visas alone would cost a lot of money. So someone with really deep pockets would have to really want to do that.
That's really
I wish I had
recent pockets. That's a recent development, right? Like as of 2016 kind of development that the visas jumped up.
I bet you Rhubarb has Rhubarb's been doing this for so long. I bet you she could tell you like if it used to be easier or not.
Yeah, I should I should ask. But yeah, that's that's another difficult part, but I'm sure people would pay for it. What do you think about just Visual K in general? Just just because the specific market for, the brand of music that they play is like, it's hit and miss and stuff like that. Like metal might be big now, but rock is not, and pop rock is kind of how pop are you and stuff. I mean, what do you think of them just playing up the novelty of what they are?
I don't even think it's so much because music styles have changed. I think the way that we use the internet has changed a lot in the last 10 years. When we were having the big Jrock boom, everyone was on LiveJournal. So if you were a Duran Gray fan, you were on LiveJournal, you were in the Duran Gray fan community, and everyone just keep each other going all the time because there'd be 20, 30 posts in there. There was no post filtering. So if you go and join that community, that's all you're going to see all day long. And so you get sucked into the fandom. And your friends start following these bands and you get sucked in along with them. And I think that doesn't happen as easily on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this the other day on Facebook Messenger. But
I think the change in social media has not been good for VK in America. I think like my personal view is what I'd like to see more of is like more people doing like influencer style YouTube channels where they're like recommending music and like talking about fashion and like building up the community aspect to support businesses that can bring the bands over.
Yeah,
that's totally unrelated to X Japan.
I mean, it is and it
I
isn't.
get very passionate about this stuff, though.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is it's like you've got X Japan trying to do this from the top down, and then you have people like yourself and Rhubarb and Lori from Fixstar has been on here, and then Shola Aurora, who is who I interviewed. He's a Visual K inspired artist who lives in New York. And they're all advocating that the way to do this long term for everyone is from the ground up.
Yes.
So, but my advice or my statement to X Japan, in spite of all of the craziness that we've seen and stuff, people were talking about how the holograms were really disappointing.
I don't know. I was so excited to see them, but they only showed like
I don't know what happened.
Less than 10 seconds.
I don't know what happened at the end. They covered the camera.
I think the cameraman was just like unaware of where he was supposed to be going. Honestly, like I don't know. Like when the holograms came up, like they made such a huge deal out of it. Like they had stuff going on in the background of them. Like they were setting it up like with the show to like make the reveal of the holograms like this like emotionally impactful like thing, but then the camera was just like bloop, like it just went somewhere else. Like no. So I'll say, in spite of all of that, like I will say that like for X Japan, my final general thoughts on how it's going so far is it's like, all right, it wasn't a swing and a miss, but it wasn't a home run, but you got your foot in the door. You got into some mainstream news. You played at Coachella, you've played at Madison Square Garden, specifically for Coachella, like just go milk this thing for all it's worth, like use it to pump up your credentials and open more doors and stuff like that, because we're a bunch of other people, they're trying to figure out how to do it from the ground up, but if you're gonna be out there like just swinging away trying to break down doors to like big businesses and stuff, I'm all for it, especially because they are at least making some progress. So I think it's just baby steps, and I think the general disappointment, there's not the disappointment that I would have expected from fans like a few years ago. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like this ended up going a lot better than it could have gone. I feel like it's been presented. X Japan has taken a really good tone with how the performances have gone and how their experience has been, and they've been spinning it to their advantage. And just keep doing it, man. Like it's we're like
fun.
Good job.
Yeah, good job. Yeah. So, all right, Laura, I've kept you long enough. I know you got to get going.
Get my son from preschool.
I know I'm being a bad influence.
I gotta go be a mommy. The carpool.
Yeah, go for it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm probably going to stay on and just check in with the chat, maybe cover a few more things. But guys, make sure you definitely check out jrockvault.com if you want to get, these awesome boxes with cool designs that have shirts like the one that Laura's wearing right now.
I'm super biased, but I think our box is a really great way to support the artists and also to support a local, not local, but a US based business at the same time. Because like when you buy the boxes from us, like some of that money does go to the artists too. And we've got a limited number of boxes left, so if you do want to grab that Kaya box, I recommend grabbing it pretty soon. So we're already running out of some sizes. So
awesome, yeah. So
thanks for letting me pimp myself on your stream.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Thanks for helping me pick apart all the craziness with Coachella. So you got me started. I think I'm energized, and I think I can do the rest of it. So
you got this, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, take it easy.
I will. I don't know how to get out of here.
The red button at the top, the phone.
Oh gosh, you could see like all the stuff in my kid's room in here. It's terrible.
No, it's fine.
Oh, the hang up button. Okay. Well, bye everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Okay. All right, guys, it's just you and me. I had a few more things I wanted to go through. We usually go for about 90 minutes or so. So, we can go for a little bit longer or a lot longer. Let's check the chat before we go through anything else. So, the point of these gigs were to get a new audience. So any possibility of that was canceled. It sucks. I would say the point of this gig, what I'm seeing them get out of it is buzz, like, more buzz, another notch in the belt kind of thing. Faux hipster girls who wear cultural appropriation costumes while labeling themselves # Queen of Coachella like the EDM DJs. Oh, damn. It's like a burn on 8 different levels. I think you criticized their authenticity with their fashion, their offensiveness with their fashion, and their labeling, their poor labeling with the fashion. That's very nice, KDH. You got that. You got that triple hit. Kind of figured out there. It hasn't reached the masses yet. I believe that was about Visual K in general. Extra Pain's just kind of interesting because they are that kind of power metal thing where I know they're power metal, but they're not power metal right now. Any power metal fan will tell you Born to Be Free is not really power metal, but they have Toshi with the powerful voice and everything like that. And then they have, I really think it's the choruses and the melodic vocals and things like that. There's almost a pop element of it. And I don't mean like pop as in the sound, but like pop as in popular, like that kind of stuff is popular with people. It's anthemic is, I guess, what I'm looking for. So, I could see them like just becoming like a niche thing in like big Hollywood circles and stuff like that. And then that's how their music gets out, I mean, Miyavi's doing a version of that, with slap guitar and pop music, what about the holograms? Hide's one was off. That was, we didn't know what was going on there. It'd be cool to snag an interview with one of these guys at some point, but fairly soon. Or if anyone does, I would like to know, what exactly was going on with all the technical stuff. But there was literally a part at the end where they covered up the screen, and first it was covered, it was black, and then it was like there was like this rectangular blur, like like that down the middle, but like white here and then black on the sides, and then you heard like everybody's cheers like getting crazier and louder and stuff like that. So my guess was that like that's when they showed Hide, which was a little confusing because it was after all the music was over. But then the live stream cut out, so I don't know if they played another song. But yeah, the only real strategy right now is to go after the younger K-pop fans that are going to eventually grow out of pop and idol music. After the younger K-pop fans that are going to eventually grow, yeah, that's yeah, sure. I think it's a pretty easy transition from something like not BTS. What's like a more like a Flower Boy one, like Shiny, the Shiny one of them. Still like the lighter like romantic K-pop boy bands and stuff. I feel like that's a pretty easy transition into something like what Dive was or what Laplace kind of is right now. It's also just going to be a weird. It's going to be a weird transition for moving forward because I don't see the heavy trends in Visual K slowing down at all. Like we may very well be in a situation where Osharake comes back and it's like post-hardcore, which is going to be really weird and really wild. But I mean, that's kind of what Rotten Orange by Acme looked like to me. So there's like a lot of misconnections, I feel like, with Visual K and American music audiences. And I know a lot of Japanese artists and labels kind of look at the American music audience, and it's like hieroglyphics to them, and it's hieroglyphics to most people, just because it's so weirdly diverse and then like homogenous about specific trends, and that's your top 40 music and stuff like that. But I think Visual K bands, even on like an individual band level, even X Japan, if they wanted to, and they do sometimes, like I feel like they can hit so many different types of genres, like sometimes in the same song, that it's like there's a mainstream music listener that the way I described it was there's a mainstream music listener that can get into, at least one Visual K band because it's just something that sounds like what they want to hear. So, for example, it would be like someone who they listen to a few different things. They prefer stuff when they work out. They don't consider themselves like a metalhead or like super into hard rock or get tattoos and stuff, but they listen to Californication by the Red Hot Chili Peppers because they like the way it sounds, and that's the Red Hot Chili Peppers is really good at just making music that like is rock music, but then it like sounds good to people that aren't into, rock music. So it's not a diss on them. It's like a compliment that it's like they can have their own sound that they want, and then it's also marketable to like people that aren't super into rock, So I feel like there's something in there. It's going to take forever for people to figure it out. We're doing our best on our end because we can kind of see trends and stuff at VKH. So, hey, Asuka, you made it. Yes, We Are X documentary part 2, Coachella's edition, please. Yeah, that would be good. I hope it doesn't take as long to make this time. I just don't think it's going to be as well. Okay, well, here's the thing, because we got to talk about like the performance that's coming up, right? So if the performance goes a lot better, maybe like maybe they're really banking that this will be like a great performance, right? So let's see. I'm going to look up because I don't have it on me. I apologize, but I'm going to look up the weekend one, the guest appearances for X Japan, because there were a lot. And while I'm talking about that, or while I'm looking for that, I wanted to know what you guys in the chat thought of the new song that they played at the first Coachella weekend. It was called. I have it in my notes. Oh, come on, load, please. Kiss in the Dark, I believe, is what it was called. My personal favorite part was Kiss the Sky. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think that's Winona sent me that, and it I think she got that mixed with like another band. Okay. Oh yeah, Monophobia beat me to it in the chat. There was they had the millennial woes that are in all of the millennial songs. You know, like I think Vox or somebody did like a video that just broke that down as they played like all these mainstream songs that like people like, you know, my age, like, or like in my age range, like 18 to 37 or whatever. Like, yeah, they all have these whoa, or whoa, you know, just like different stuff like that. Different woes. And it's like, it's the replacement for lyrics. But it's used in like certain impactful parts of the song to get stuck in your head and make you say it. And it was very much that. Yeah, I believe it was the one Sukso composed. It was kind of hard to tell again for me because of like, I would need to go back and re-listen to it, to be honest, but it seems like a lot softer than Born to Be Free overall. The piano solo was very nice. But yeah, I just think that's interesting that if that's like an upcoming song, it's going to be a soft ballad, power ballad, soft power ballad, something like that, you know? So it will be interesting to see if, you know, they play that again, you know, this weekend, or if they, yeah, we really need to like figure out, like, I want to like almost like put up a poll or something and be like, what do you think Marilyn Manson and Yoshiki are going to are going to perform together? Because sorry, I should say X Japan and Marilyn Manson. So sounds like Lunacy's, the last Lunacy's album, to be honest. Okay, good. So I'm remembering it correctly then. Yeah, like that kind of music just it doesn't quite do it for me, but it's totally a bias thing. Like I'm an adrenaline junkie, so like soft music has to like really be impactful to me. Like it has to like blow my mind for me to be into it and stuff like that. So it's and it's not even blow my mind. It's just it's got to resonate with me. So like it could be the best soft song in the world, but it's not like, oh, I can totally relate. You know, it's like it's gonna be whatever. Yeah. Let me see. Give me 1 second while I pull up a couple of my other notes. Yeah, I got to tell you guys, we were we were going back and forth over chat while the concert was playing, and we were like absolutely stressing about like where the holograms, like we didn't understand where the holograms were. So if you were kind of like tearing your hair out in real time, we absolutely were as well. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to hop onto real quick was and I could be just like a little bit biased about this, but I do feel like X Japan's like newer songs seem to like hit home a little bit harder than their older stuff to someone like me. I could be completely off on that because I really was more into their newer stuff than their older stuff, which is, I know it's like heresy, don't, how dare you, but I didn't get into them until like, much later than most other people. And then I was really into IV, and then I was really into, or four, I guess, the Saw one, and then I was into Jade and stuff like that. And I just remember seeing them, and I was like, the audience, obviously, like the people at the front were obviously like not, like they were resonating to like X and like Kurenai and stuff like that, right? But like I was like picturing like, okay, my friend who's not, he's okay with rock, but he doesn't know anything about Japanese music. It's like, he's going to like turn his head for Born to Be Free. He's going to turn his head for like those songs. So, and all of that like really raises just even more questions about how the next album is going to be and stuff like that. Oh, thanks for reminding me, Trim. Because I was going to say this. Can you imagine X playing The Beautiful People or something like that? I almost feel like that has to be it. Like if they play any Marilyn Manson song, it's going to be that one. Yoshiki's gonna have a blast on the drums, that would be the one. I can't even imagine what the X Japan song would be. I don't think I'm well versed enough to pick it, and I'm just a casual listener of X Japan. I've just been listening more and more and more over the last few weeks and things like that. So I would have to see, exactly, I don't know, which song Marilyn Manson would sing. Yeah, I'd love it. I would love it if they played The Beautiful People too. I feel like X Japan playing the Marilyn Manson songs would be like a really solid way to go. If they want to like ham up or not ham up, but like really focus and lean into like reaching out to people who don't listen to them, because it's going to be like, they're all extremely talented musicians. Marilyn Manson's songs are like solid songs. And so it's like, if they can put their own like, talented flair on like their different songs and stuff, or on his song structures and stuff, that's pretty solid. Art of Life. Okay, there you go. That's actually what we joked on our podcast. We have a we have a podcast that we do. We've taken a few weeks break from it to do live streams and catch up on articles, but we'll have another episode out very soon. But it's called VKH Breakdown, and it's on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/VKH Breakdown. It's like it's a more structured version of kind of like our live streams and things like that, except we pre-record them and we go through a lot of news and like kind of do a lot of back and forth and stuff. So, but we covered like the announcement of X Japan showing up to Coachella, and our initial reaction was like, why? Like, I don't understand why they would come to Coachella. And then like we eventually came to understand that it's like because it's Coachella, and because there has not been a Japanese band that's played at Coachella, and these guys need to get their foot in the door. And if anybody is going to just like, brace themselves and just run through any of the, I don't know, like the resistance or the wave of disinterest in like, mainstream rock music and stuff like that, in mainstream US music in general, it's X Japan. They're big enough, they can take it. They'll have fans show up wherever they go, at least. So they're going to show up. They have a history, a really interesting history. It's just objectively interesting. Like that documentary is fascinating. Like I watched it with my dad, and he was hooked, like or he was at least like kind of he was at least like pretty into it and stuff. He may have just been pretending to like to be nice, but I really got the impression from people that I'd looked up who'd watched and never heard of X Japan that it's like that history is really interesting. So it's like they have all that, they can kind of like tough it out and stuff like that. So we understood that was why, but then we ended up coming to the conclusion that of all the songs that they could play, they could just make their set Art of Life. And it's at Coachella, and like everybody's on drugs, you know, like everybody's in like a chill artsy mood. They're ready to be mesmerized and like have their minds blown, and or maybe not their minds blown. I don't know. That a lot of that music was not very mind blowing. I was under the impression Coachella that they had transformed more into like electronic, but it was like trance music and like, you know, like crazier, like more hypnotic stuff. But it was very, very, very sanitized electronic music there. So, but yeah. So we can reboot our campaign to tweet at X Japan or tweet at Yoshiki to play Art of Life at Coachella. It's not too late. You know, they've got one more. But so yeah, we'll see how this one goes. We obviously won't be able to like kind of like check in and do a report on any of this this upcoming live outside of like just seeing what we see on social media and stuff like that. So we'll ask around and you know, we will have our eyes peeled wide open for any announcements of you know, recordings of this concert, because it is very unfortunate that Marilyn Manson's going to be there and that it was announced, and you know, and all of that, and that people can't even see it now. So but we will definitely let you know if that happens. You know, photos are released, stuff like that. Best recommendation I can make is if you're like a hardcore X fan, just you know, I think you guys know what to do already, but just, you know, follow the social media of the bands, and Yoshiki's putting out stuff and things like that. And you know, I think the turnaround on social media for this is going to be pretty quick this time. I don't think it's going to take forever. And you know, it might go into a documentary or something like that, but I think the savvier thing to do is to put up like a highlight reel on like Yoshiki's YouTube channel or something like that. I feel like that would definitely be the best way to go. So, okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and start winding down the live stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate the support. If you could do us a solid and yourself a solid technically, if you enjoy this, you know, like subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell icon. That is like the no, really, I'm subscribing button that tells YouTube that you want to see all of the videos when they're announced and stuff. VKH Live, we do these every Saturday evening. So this is a special one. This is like outside of what we normally do. So our next one is actually going to be tomorrow. And it is going to be a Duran Gray themed VKH Live. At long last, I can finally get it off my chest, like ease myself of the guilt that I've been doing this for so long and I have not done a Duran Gray live stream. So I will have an article up about that tonight. And we'll have a specific time, but it's going to be the evening and stuff like that. Thanks, Trent. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. Our links are all in the description. And I would just say I'll add a couple others. We have a Facebook group that I do with I'm an admin on, but it's put on by Jrock Vault, which is Laura. Laura is one of the partners of Jrock Vault, and also Fake Star, which is Rhubarb. If you've seen Rhubarb in some of our interviews and things like that, it's called Visual K and Jrock Party, and it's fairly new, but it's like basically like what it is that's different from the other Facebook groups is that it's all like industry people that are like kind of running it. So like, you know, I'm at VKH. Laura is running a Jrock style business with products, and Rhubarb is doing like Rhubarb's a promoter, and you know we have other promoters, and you know that are that hang out in there, other press people, and so it's being run by professionals. So we're keeping it a place that is safe for artists to come hang out if they would ever want to come hang out. I can't really promise what that is, but what that means, but that is basically the goal, is to get, really have like a fully professional place for fans to come interact with people that are, that write or, create content or promote. The promoters love to get in touch with you guys and hear what you want to say, and anybody can post anything. There's just some rules, like you don't like, I think there's just like no trolling bans and stuff, don't shit talk bands, and like post as if the band was kind of in there. Like that kind of a thing. But it's like, you can share whatever opinions you want if you like something, if you don't like something. It's like in all of that. It's just it's our fun little experiment. We just broke 100 people. So we're posting all kinds of cool stuff in there. I will also put a link to I know I'm drawing this out a little bit. I apologize. Thanks for sticking with me though, guys. I'm a little sleep deprived. So I just got to get through these last two links. So I will put them in the video as soon as I get off so that you see them. But definitely check out our podcast, VKH Breakdown, because the next episode's coming soon. And I would also say, check our website in maybe an hour for a very special surprise that you would be very interested in seeing and reading about and participating in. So no take means Katie. Katie's got it figured out. You can post take means, just maybe not about it just can't have the band in it, like that kind of thing, or I don't know, we'll see. Rhubarb worded it like very appropriately. It was just like, don't be that guy or something like that, so yeah. So definitely check something really, really cool coming in maybe an hour, maybe less. And maybe I'll also pin that to the top of the comments here or something like that. So with all that, thanks. Take it easy, guys. Talk to you later.